Well, howdy, everybody. And as if this isn't going to be one of the most joyous Huskers happy hours ever, there's less than 10 so far. Yes, I know. But my God, we got it. This is the last time you're going to see six as my nickname because we got that sixth win. Woo! I am still basking in it. I did not want to leave the press box that night. I sat there, I got done. They put out a Valentino's spread after the game, each game, and I ate my pizza, and it was time to go, and I just still didn't want to leave. I didn't. And the stadium, I didn't really download any pictures or anything this week because, we're just going to be shitting all over Iowa for most of the night, so I just wanted to let that rule the day. But I got a beautiful one. I'll put it up next week of just the empty stadium, the lights on. It's not in the picture, but there's the score up on the scoreboard, 44-25. Kind of wished I'd spotted that Donovan Raiola fiasco. Apparently, if you're an off-duty Wisconsin cop and Luke Fickell tells you something, you suddenly have the powers to go hands-on in a state in which you have no jurisdiction. Everybody's brushing it off. Donovan Raiola is just a misunderstanding, no big deal. Matt Rule's already forgotten. I think Luke Fickell just got amnesia. Weirdly, Wisconsin fans are acting like it's all right. That him walking away was somehow a threat. Or, one of the stories was they thought maybe he took one of their clipboards. Why in fucking God's name would Donovan Raiola steal one of your clipboards, A, after a game, B, after a game in which we stomped you? It's like your secrets are out, and they weren't worth a shit. But, yeah, that's just, cops just going hands-on at the behest of the head coach, who knows, but you just don't go over, grab a guy's arm, and spin him around, and then one of the guys by Donovan looked like he was saying something and got the old man finger wag, like, don't you talk to me that way, boy, and it looked awful. But I'm sure both schools wanted to disappear, so we're going to get nothing, but hey, it's no big deal. You go up and grab a guy, it's a big deal. It's always a big deal. You don't get to, even if it was a Nebraska cop going up, and it's obviously somebody who's not running around with the crowd, he's walking, I get it, he's dressed kind of casually, but he's just walking around and not doing anything but wandering with a couple of guys, and they think it's okay to go grab him and spin him like he's running away. But I just wanted to get that out because it's been bothering me, and I just don't see that there's any reasonable explanation for it, except this fucker was out of line. All right, back to the celebration, baby. We're going bowling. Let's talk about the game first. We'll believe me, we'll carve plenty of time away for and I hope you've got for Iowa Hate Week, and I hope you've got your best Iowa jokes lined up. I did it last year on John's show. I'm not sure if they did exactly the same thing. If they did, fuck it, we're doing it again. All right, it's Iowa Hate Week. No one owns Iowa Hate Week. It's celebrated by all of Nebraska. But let's talk about it first. Hey, so now we know the Holgerson matrix can't be flipped in 2 weeks, but takes 3 weeks to kick into gear. What a week. I mean, Holgerson, I don't want to invoke the name Mike Riley because it's a much tougher culture than that, but it kind of sounds like maybe Rule and Satterfield were kind of afraid to hurt some feelings a little bit. I don't know. And Holgerson came in and was just, hey, the perimeter blocking is shit. That's got to improve. And then, along with his grandmother on Twitter, grannies shouldn't be on Twitter. Tom Fidone, I'm still not sure how to pronounce it. I really got to go just onto that Husker roster and listen to every one of those names I might have a doubt about. But she went on and basically, how can you bench him? Now you've broken him twice. And, well, it's 2 knee injuries, so wouldn't that be the third time then? At least get the false accusation right. But, family members get upset. And I'm going to poke fun at Granny a little bit. Who's to say I won't be doing the same thing if I end up with some Husker grandson. But anyway, one of the stories was that, he had been told, hey, pick it up a little. and B, there had been a couple of false starts, and any false starts were going to result in the bench, and he got one early, and that's why he only played 3 plays. And on the flip side, Nate Borkircher, I wondered where he'd been for the last couple of years. He'd arguably been our best tight end out there, and then he'd kind of disappeared this year. Luke Lindenmeyer was seeing more action. It looked like Nate had kind of disappeared, or at least his number wasn't being called throwing. I don't always catch who's in the set, obviously, for every play, so maybe there were snaps. But supposedly those two were stellar in practice, and apparently the tough love worked. Holgerson today said that he just had his best day of practice since he had been here, so message received, and hopefully we see a lot more of him in the lineup, because he's got the size, the talent, the speed to make some stuff happen. Sure, it's not the same speed after 2 knee operations, but for a guy that size, he can still move. And he was probably our best receiver for Indiana and Ohio State combined, maybe. He stepped it up against our 2 highest ranked opponents, and then, who knows? Just glad it's working. Dylan Rayola goes 28 of 38 for 293 yards and a touchdown, completes 74% of his passes, and he was just out there slinging dimes. Had a couple of drops. I love the story because they said one of the things you've got to get rid of to make the losing streaks go away is you've got to put the mistakes behind you, not dwell on them. And apparently when they had the touchdown pass to Nayor, remember they had one called complete. We didn't get a review, so had to burn a challenge. Then when the tables are turned, Wisconsin, no, we'll review that for you, and it was incomplete. And apparently Holgerson just told him, he said, no biggie, we'll just go do it again. And then that's the one where I believe he hit Banks in the back of the end zone, and he gets the 1 foot in touchdown. But just a great game from Dylan. You can see he and Holgerson were just in rhythm together, and I believe he was even saying that at his press turn after the game. It said it was everything was in sync. It was as much as the offense had flowed. He had the look of somebody who's been reborn a little. I know everybody loves to talk about, he's transferring. Guys, even before this game, he'd scheduled a summer football youth camp in Lincoln, Nebraska. He's not going anywhere. He wasn't going anywhere, and he's still not going anywhere. Emmett Johnson, the game of his young career, 16 carries for 113 yards, 7.1 a carry, and then also 6 catches for 85 yards at 14 yards of reception, 198 yards of offense. Big day. He said that the key for him was they were told to play fearlessly, and he did that more than any other game. Play fearlessly all the time now, my man. And Ja'Cory Barney is the Big Ten Freshman of the Week. 9 catches for all over the field. 9 catches for 85 yards, a 45-yard kickoff return to start the game. And boy, have big returns been missing for a few years from special teams. I mean, honestly, I can't think of anybody I think, Ramirez broken 1 or 2, up to around midfield. But I don't think we've had a threat in the return game since DeMorney Pearsonell. If you can think of anything earlier than that, throw it out there. But, yeah, Ja'Cory Barney showed that off in the spring game. And we've been waiting for one. And what a great way to just start the game and send a message and drive right down and score. Just a beautiful start to the game. And now when the defense got in trouble and got hit with a couple of late bombs, it was the offense answering the bell for them. And I love that because they've always taught the offensive and defensive players, it's not a competition. They talk about we've got to get their backs when they're down. And the defense has always said when the offense is having trouble scoring, we've got to hold the score down and do what we can for them. They had some tough times there in the second half. What did the offense do? Scored going back to the first half on their final 6 drives of the game. But the Holgo fence is off and running. The other memory from the game is when we scored the touchdown to go up 44-25, and they're dicking around waiting to kick the extra point, and then you heard it, just a emotional release from the crowd of a Go Big Red chant. And you know it's loud because in the press box, it's muffled outside somewhat. You're not getting the full. If there's a part about that I wish they could do is maybe pump a little more of the game sound in there. But, it's a working press box. They're trying to kind of keep it quiet while everybody's writing, taking notes. But you could hear that come through loud and clear. It must have been booming outside. And then they had a lot of different fun with the Badgers, I guess, with under 3 minutes, 2 minutes to go, 2-minute warning stuff. They played the jump around after we kind of had socked away. They were doing one of those. Like TCU has that hypnotic toad thing. We were doing weird things, weird videos with Badgers, and just having all sorts of fun. Tell you what, there's my game recap for you. Let's go to the comments and see what y'all are up to tonight and who was in. I didn't see who the 1, 2, 3 was. We've already got comments flying, and there's only so many on there, and it doesn't really roll back. It only saves so many of them. So let me get going before we lose more. Tiger Shark Diver says Fidone looks awkward when he runs. I'm just wondering, I think that's just what 260 pounds looks like when it runs. It's not going to really look like a sprinter too often, and he's not running a 4.40. But, yeah, he's a guy that when he's ready to go, he's a tough cover because he's maybe a little too fast for the linebackers and a little too big for anybody else. Let's see what we got here. It looks like Pit Snipe's already passing out the pit points. I must have missed a few of these, so I'm going to skip over some of it. Fred's already calling bullshit. Hold on just a moment. That war whoop took it out of me a little. And, I'd be remiss if not going, welcome to the Triple H and giving you guys your view of a professional wrestler in a in a thong, basically. I know no one ever gets tired of that. Anyway, back to the comments. Let's see. So yeah, this whole pit point thing is suspect as Pitt awards them to himself. Who's running this? The B1G. We're just trying to fit in. Pitt Snipe says, I'm running this. Come at me. So it's Fred versus Pitt tonight. Yeah, and Aaron Kane. Andy is summoning Minnie. Yeah, summoning Minnie by singing "How Great Thou Art, Dylan." I don't know. I wonder if Minnie does. As we scroll down, we'll find out. I wonder if Minnie does have like Dylan sense, kind of like the Spidey sense, and the fur on her arm starts tingling and standing up. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I assume we're talking about Freshman of the Week. Yeah, I got it over Jeremiah Smith. I haven't really been following it. I just finally got I got laid off at work, and it's quickly just turning into an early retirement as I'm not finding a desire to go back. But back in July, so my work email was the one that the Big Ten had, and even then I've been trying for like a year and a half or two to find a way to get that changed to my personal email, and it's just nothing. It's like I try, hey, how to send an email in. I send it in as news. Sorry, that page doesn't exist. The Big Ten webpage sometimes with stuff like this is much like Big Ten refereeing, only true. Just instead of both always wrong, but this was truly incompetent. I don't think that was targeted at me, but. And, I've just been trying to get everything on the personal email. About 3-4 weeks ago, get an email from the Big Ten. Hey, and it was in there because I would apply for my Big Ten or Big 12, Big Ten Media Days, football Media Days credentials with my personal email. And so they finally was like, hey, if you need to get your personal email on file with us, do it here. And boom, it's done, and I'm getting Big Ten emails again. Let's see. Then Fred's like, Aaron Kane almost summoning Minnie, I'm assuming, but cut the tribute about 58 minutes short. Yeah, one night we should just have Minnie night and talk about everything Dylan Raiola, childhood friends, favorite board games. I'm not going to do that. Just kidding. Does Iowa throw up more than 15 times? Well, I will tell you this. Just a little tidbit from the Iowa preview. Wait, one page sooner than my Iowa jokes. Let's see, Jackson Stratton, and they're trying to sell this guy as the fourth string quarterback. Okay, he started the season as fourth string, but obviously he's the third quarterback they use. They're going with him again, but McNair's still concussed. Oh my God, how will they find someone to hand the ball off and throw 3-yard slants to tight ends? Well, do they throw it 15 times against Maryland? It was basically an extension of the running game. This sounds like Satterfield at his scared to go deep best. 10 of 14 for 76 yards, 5.4 yards an attempt, while completing 71% of the attempts. That's just hilarious. So no, doubtful they will. They don't appear to be have any desire to go deep. This guy, we'll get to the Iowa preview here shortly, and then I'll insult everything about Jackson Stratton. Let's see, Pitt Snipe, Husker, yeah, Pearsonell, agree. Yeah, I don't think we've really had anyone since then. Seems like we've had some that ought to be fairly decent at it, but no, just nothing. Yeah, and when we're talking about replacing coordinators, man, it just feels like Foley's next on the chopping block. I don't know. It's nice to see, but it might be too little too late. After 11 games, we finally returned the ball over like 14 yards. Yeah, let's bet. I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those meddling kids. Nice. Tiger Shark Diver, JD, this would be something to talk about sometime. We really won't go into it, but JD Spielman was such a waste when he left. I mean, what wasn't it like 6 games and he blew his ACL and he was done? I think JD Spielman, just pure speculation, but I think he was one of those guys that wasn't down with the workload is going to increase for you under this new regime, because I just think there was too much Mike Riley in it, and when Frost came in, and it was like, because I always say this for Frost, he left the program better than he found it as far as strength and conditioning. Matt Rule didn't walk into a weight room full of guys who, had to be told how to get there. And I think, and they always said for Spielman, football was something he was really good at, but not fully committed to. He had a lot of interests in life and enjoyed football, but didn't want football to be the focus of his life at the cost of everything else. That's the vibe I got. Am I right? I don't know. We'll never know. But when I did feel really bad for the guy when he blew that knee out. That's kind of always sad. You do it in your last year and you're done. Let's see. What else we got? Playing along with my psychosis, +5 Raggy. See, I don't know. Complain about pit points, get 5. Clickbait. I was expecting the real Triple H. That is the real Triple H. Blaine Cole. Who's more Triple H than Hunter Hearst Helmsley? I'm actually looking forward to hearing that. Yeah, the Wisconsin troll video they played. There's no love lost there. I wish. Oh man, I wish they would have put the cop interaction up there and played goofy stuff over that. All right, I'll let it go. Yes, I was in the press box. I'll stop talking about it. Although I'm going to talk about a different one here in a minute. Let's see. We should bring pit points, a new alternative currency, Fug Bitcoin. I don't know. I think we got enough of enough alternative currencies out there right now. Toads and Badgers was Andy's metal band in the 80s. Fidone needs to get the ball in stride down the seam. Yeah, and he seems to get open. Maybe not lately. Who knows? I already did my thing about receivers not getting open. last week. They appeared to do a better job of it this week. What else we got here? Those hook passes to Fidone don't complement his skill set. And also the ones where you throw the screen to him for the pitch and catch. I don't feel like that's his strength either, unless it's somehow designed to create amazing loads of open field, as opposed to like Emmett, who they give it to and he can make yards happen. Let's see. It's not even a question of many has Dylan sense. It's just a question of how far it reaches. I like that. Bruce Davis says, "Hi, Corn Nation, go Big Red." Hi, Bruce Davis, and go Big Red. Right back at you. Welcome aboard, my friend. Yeah, let's see how good the actual fourth string quarterback for Iowa is, or if they even need a quarterback. Only thing is, of all the many different forms of PTSB, holy, real quick, I see we just got a commit for a cornerback, CJ Bronaugh. So, hey, boom, we just got the commitment drum is sounding tonight. But yeah, every time it feels like we've knocked out a starting quarterback in the last couple of years, the replacement comes in and shreds us. I mean, we knocked out, oh God, whoever that one quarterback for Minnesota that felt like he was there for 8 or 9 years, we knock him out, and Callie McManus comes in and wins a game for him. We knocked out Iowa's starting quarterback 2 years ago, and his replacement came in and let him back in a 20. Well, we did quit running our offense game up 24-0. Even Mickey wasn't not guilty of that. And then this guy comes in and we end up winning 24-17, and they had the ball at the end again. Oh, God, no. If this quarterback's stinking, don't make it worse by knocking him out of the game. Leave him in the game and leave him stinking. Over under on likelihood Dana will be here next year. The comments I see now, he's not committing to anything, and why would he? It's like, he said right now, as far as he knows, he just sounds like he's rolling with it. He said something like, God, as far as I know, I'll be calling the plays in the bowl game. And it's like, well, damn right you will. But no, he was talking about how much fun he's having, how he didn't realize even in a few months how much he missed it. And just that game is the most fun he's had in a long time. And and here's my thing, is my hope is it's not like a 1 or 2 and done and he gets another head coaching job. I want him to be one of those guys who tasted the head coaching waters and likes just working with the guys, the game, probably have to do recruiting, but not having to do all the head coach bullshit that's part of that job now. And he said something along those lines, either Monday, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it would have been yesterday. There's a joy to something like there's a joy to it without the head coaching stuff that I hadn't felt in a while, and that game was a blast, et cetera, et cetera. So let's go beat Iowa. Let's go turn them loose. If there's one thing I love about bowl games, where they're not playing for anything but a win, in December or January, just for the heck of it. That's when certain guys open those playbooks up and just say, fuck it. And if there's a guy better built to do that than Mr. Holgerson, I don't know who it is, man. I would love to just see Data with a battle of 2 7-5s or 6 and 6s going, let's frickin' do this. Let's see. Pit Snipe, no, this is not the mini channel. Lover in small doses. I think you can say that about all of us in Corn Nation. No one wants any of us except in small doses. Let's see. All right, I'm going to scroll down. Is the mic doing it again? Do I need to do a quick in and out like last week? I'll roll down and look. Tell me now. If it's going 10, let me know. Last week it was a quick fix. Well, I'm not. Bad mic. Okay, let me go in and out and be right back. Hold on just a momento.
All right, let me get the good camera back. All right, how's the sound? Better? Improved? I'll just do some stretching and Kegel exercises while you're waiting. Don't you talk about me while I'm gone, Pit Snipe. Better. Awesome. You see, last week I had a warning. I got some message that the mic was off, and I did the diagnostic thing, and the mic was on, but it must have been on and shit, so might as well have been off. But I didn't get that this week. Yeah, let me know fast whenever there's a mic problem. I don't know what the deal is, but the good news is easily fixed. Let's see. Kenny says, I've been on the Wisconsin live feeds. Fools acting like they've been Alabama the last 15 years. Well, what did Alabama and Wisconsin have in common on Saturday? Got their asses whipped by Nebraska and Oklahoma. So, ha, ha, ha. All right, let's see. We'll give you a little taste of what's to come later. Iowa cheerleaders split the seams every week. Let's see. Husker Bucks. Okay. Yep. There's a lot. I'm going through all the where everybody's following up the mic. My God, Andy, the mic. Yeah. Every backup looks like fucking Elway. Illinois a few years back had a midget polish guy, and he carved us up. I think I remember that one. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Holgerson sounds like he's happy being an OC and not the HC shit in the recent presser. That was the vibe I got, and Rule, like absolutely just yanking Nebraska's bargaining position out from under them. Goes, I want him here next year, and Holgerson, who's probably played the salary game a few times, going, I'm in no hurry. So I have a feeling it's just going to be, I want this kind of stupid money, and Nebraska going, we got you. So let's see. Yes, Satterfield would have totally said fuck it for the bowl game. 7 screen passes per quarter. Yeah, he would have gone to the air raid. Dylan Rail, fourth quarter, 13 of 15 for 28 yards. Let's see. Blaine Cole's got a question. Nebraska's best bowl win? Well, it's glaringly obvious, but it's tough not to take a win over number 2 Florida in the 1996 Fiesta Bowl there. But yeah, that'd be. I tell you what, one that looks better in retrospect was the opening season as head coach bowl game between Bo and Dabo Swinney, and Bo won that matchup, and in 2020 hindsight, that one looks better and better. I can't stand Dabo. We've got 95 Orange Bowl. Yeah. Oh, fuck. And here's my rotten sign. Mr. Mustang 6197 Drew. An old man having computer issues. I'm shocked. Shocked, I say. Nah, the old man shit would have been if I go back, I fumble around, you hear me cursing under my breath. Well, as opposed to over it, my normal standing. But yeah, and I can't get it back on, and then the camera disappears and all sorts of shit. So anyway, fixed mic. Tiger Shark. I will get to that. Let me see. As crazy as it sounds, I actually do kind of have an order of my madness, and we'll talk about that next. Let me just run to the end of the comments. We're almost done with what's up there now. Was it Corey Schlesinger who knocked out the Miami player on the opening kickoff? See, my only knockouts I remember is Crouch sleeping that Iowa safety as a freshman when he came in late in the game, and then Marcus Washington sleeping Iowa's American hero Cooper DeJean. and that's hey, everybody likes to give Dylan crap for the the Mahomes sideshow Bob haircut. Cooper DeJean was trying to rock that haircut. It's just like, oh, Cooper, it's good you can play football. But yeah, Marcus Washington slept him and ended his day when we beat Iowa. A good way to start kicking us in. Iowa acronym of idiots out wandering around. It never gets old. Kenny goes to Blade, says the Orange Bowl against Warren Sapp and Ray Lewis. Well, you can see what other shoulder, poster over my shoulder there. Joel Makovica, and I thought, was it Doug Coleman? Because two of them ran over Jacquez Green, who ended up playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I believe, had a decent little NFL career. And at that time at the game, and granted, I was much under the influence of a day full of spirits in Tempe, but that felt like half an hour. When I went back and watched it, I think it was about between 5 and 10 minutes. But they were saying they thought it was a dislocated hip at first, and it ended up being not that bad. Still bad. I mean, he would have missed many games had that not been the last game of the year. But yeah, everybody in the stadium kind of went like, holy shit, because they blew him up. Let's see. Yeah, the 62-24 game. Yeah, yep, Bo was going to be the guy. Showed that Dabo. What did Dabo ever go on to do? Well, went on to become a national championship winning coach and perennial top 4 team until the transfer portal and NIL came along. And Dabo cannot, there's no more Southern white man than Dabo, making $10 million a year and just constantly bemoaning that NIL is bullshit. Players should just get their scholarship, and they should still have. He really misses the old rules where you couldn't transfer without the coach's permission, and the coach could give you a list of schools you weren't allowed to go to. And then, in retrospect, doesn't this just seem insane that they're paying the players zero at that point? They're getting a scholarship, like many academic scholarships on campus. Every one of them can go leave for whatever other school they want, whenever they want. But somehow we thought it was okay to make sure the players didn't have money. The coaches are just paid through the roof, and then they can actually halt their movement. That was nuts. Now, that's the thing, is the players might learn that when the time comes and the salaries come, that their movements might be restricted again. They might have to agree to some sort of length of contract deals, when they get signed. Maybe, now it's just the 4-year scholarship, but, that doesn't bind you to stay there. What if they say, we will guarantee you your 4-year deal, but you're not leaving in those 4 years? And I guess the only out would be the coach and the player both agree. But then you're kind of back to the coach can shut you down, and the coach can maybe tell you what schools not to go to again. But now you're on a salary. Anyway, let's see. Oh, is it RS? Is this our guest from the Philippines 2 weeks ago? Watching and praying for a win this week. Originally in Omaha, now retired in the Philippines. I remember like 2 weeks ago, we had someone from the Philippines, someone from Japan, and boy, did I overstate that the Triple H has gone international. That's right, my friends, international. I'll start talking about that instead of the press box. I'm missing the press box, though. That was my first time doing that for football in Memorial Stadium, and it really was an experience. I'm looking forward to it in the future. I don't think I did anything to get kicked out. So that if I'm wistful about it a little more tonight, I apologize, but I may not be able to stop it. Damn it, Mustang! Post-labor abortions are a thing, Yeah, I'll stick with Rotten Son. I won't call him a need for post-birth abortion. This one was great joy. I was a freshman that year. 44-6 drubbing of Penn State in the kickoff classic the year after the bullshit out of bounds catch at like the 2 or the 3, and then out of the back of the end zone or dropped or something. But yeah, just that even then, future Big Ten schools were being cheated against us. Oh, Blackledge, I still hate him for that. I heard that, Aaron, Happy Hour Theater is on the menu tonight. I don't know, though. We'll see. Maybe I'll go Rich Little and do some impressions later. No. Yeah, knocked out Florida's best receiver. I still think their best receiver was that Doring. He tore us up for a few, and they were what? They were up 10-7 before the gloves came off. He can't catch me. I live in Minnesota now. I'm too far away. And you're coming to Omaha over Christmas, so you're making my job easy. Oh, why does it keep deleting your comment? I haven't touched any comments, so I don't know. Didn't delete this comment. Did are you? I don't know. They maybe did. Are you talking about something you're not supposed to talk about? Are you going too deep? I was told I could. I believe I told you is without repeating the tweet that I may have a few weeks ago tweeted comparing the treatment from the referees to a form of sexual assault at the hands of Andre the Giant. So I don't know. Maybe they went in and did certain words just to make sure I don't do it again. And instead, I'm just referring to it all the time now. Well done. Here's Brad. Yeah, Crouch knocked over that Iowa safety harder than Iowa cheerleaders knock over a Krispy Kreme when the hot and now sign isn't on. Damn right, young pony. I have dangerous friends, and I have them in Minnesota. Am I right, John? If John's watching. Oh, Eric Martin. Yeah. Had the temerity to knock out like on a kickoff against Oklahoma State, I believe. And it had the just beautiful timing of like this guy was just staring up at, he's running down to tackle somebody. Our job is to block those people as best and hard as we can. And Eric Martin just, for some reason, he's following the football instead of looking out for who might be coming to block him, which just seems logical to me. And Eric Martin just tried to send him into outer space. And then you also had the beauty of former Missouri lineman Ed Cunningham doing color on that show. And for those of you not familiar with Ed Cunningham, he hated the Huskers almost as much as he hated hard contact in a football game, and if it was us, he would be bemoaning how dirty we were like 4 or 5 plays later. It was amazing. We loved getting him all pissed off. Yeah, I see another thing about comments being weird. I can't help you there. That's a YouTube problem, not an Andy problem. Beetle B says, anyone remember Nebraska, Oklahoma, and KC? That was the Big 12 title or the Big 12 title game, and I believe we jumped up on them because Roy Haley was running wild, and what was his name? Sean, was it Watson? But it was that offensive coordinator that somebody put it best. He'd rather pass for 100 and run for 100 than run for 400 and pass for 0. And we were doing so well running the ball, we quickly stopped, and Oklahoma came back and beat us. Bear Tenney just decommitted. That rumor's been out there. And if Chase Lofton is going to commit, yes. My buddy Trapp and I were texting about that last night and today. We really, really want Chase Lofton. He made it got called incomplete. He was out of bounds, but he made a sick one-handed grab in the state championship game last night. One last one here. Best knockout was Rude on the OU kickoff returner in the 1978 game. Don't worry about the caps or the returner. Beautiful hit. And that was probably my first experience with what the fuck's wrong with these refs. Because that was the one where he goes one direction in the air, the ball goes the other direction in the air, and the refs called him down. And so instead of pretty much putting the game away at that point, Oklahoma keeps the ball, drives the length of the field, and Billy Sims fumbles like the 10 or somewhere way down there and we recover to finally put that one on ice. Let's get out of the comments for a minute. Somebody mentioned what are the Bulls looking back, and I actually got to talk a little. I saw what Tom Chattel said, talked a little with a Husker media guy, and then Scott Docterman. Yes, he's an Iowa guy, but he writes a lot of really good national stuff for The Athletic. Any other week but this one, we consider Scott a friend. But throwing all that in there together, it sounds like the way it's going to play out is the ReliaQuest Bowl in Tampa. They had a rep at the Wisconsin game on Saturday, and let me jump back a little. Everybody wants us bad for all the jokes going around. My buddy Matt texted, now let's see what shit bowl like the Chili Bowl they go to, or like Pinstripe Bowl. Here we come. Everybody wants us. It not because we're wonderful or anything. They want money, and they know we haven't been to a bowl in 8 years, and they know everybody's going to be coming to a bowl and want to take over the place. It will be a madhouse of mass travel. And so it sounds like the ReliaQuest Bowl they've got to, I believe, deal with the best available out of a group of teams from the Big Ten. So it sounds like us and Iowa are playing, and the winner will go to Tampa. Now, if we don't win that game, the Music City Bowl is next up. They can take whoever they want, and they want us. And so it sounds like Tampa, and then if not, Nashville. Hey, it's not New York and winter. It's not New York City in winter, is it? Or I don't know if we'd ever be in the thing for like Boise or Shreveport, whatever they do down in Shreveport still, or the Duke Mayo Bowl, which I would absolutely not go anywhere near that mayonnaise pouring nonsense. That just kind of made I can eat mayonnaise on stuff. I wasn't a fan of it as a kid, but the idea of getting a creamier version of it, watching somebody get that dumped on them, and that smell wafting through whatever room that's in. No, sir. Thank you. Anyway, but that's what it's looking like now. There's also a rumor out there that if we beat Iowa and get to 7-5, one of the lower end New Year's Day bowls might be going, fuck it, we want them. So if that happens, great. Don't say, oh, he said we're going bowling on New Year's Day. That's just one of those rumors that I heard that it is basically just in the might be a possibility. We got to beat Iowa and then see if anything interesting happens. But isn't it good now? I feel guilt-free talking about this. We're not jinxing shit anymore. Now we can talk about future plans and bowl games and where we're going. It is my intention to try and get creds and go to that bowl game. So depending on when that is and what day of the week, we might be doing a version of this from, who knows, Tampa, Nashville, wherever, and that could be a little fun. I'd see if I could pull in a guest or two. But anyway, that's the bowl possibilities. Real quick, and I'm just going to rattle it off. I don't have it on the graphics or anything. Let's preview the Iowa game. Yes, Jackson Stratton, their third string quarterback, will get the start. McNamara is still concussed. His head's swimming too much to be able to hand it off. It's funny because both in their limited action, both of the backups had a better passing percentage than McNamara, who's supposedly the only one that can pass. He combined, I gave you his Maryland numbers in total this year, and this includes coming into the UCLA game. He's 13 of 20 for 104 yards. So yeah, just throwing dink balls, 13 completions at less than 10 yards. Yeah, 65%, but only 5.2 yards per attempt, and hasn't thrown a touchdown or a pick. And he is a sophomore. What was it, Keith Jackson? 6'6" and just a sophomore. Caleb Johnson's the name. The name you got to know. He's the one we got to stop. Now UCLA shut him down. They held him to, I believe, under 30 yards. So I imagine they'll be studying that tape pretty darn hard. He has carried 223 times for 1,492 yards. Likely going over 1,500 against us. But hey, let's hold him under 8. We did it to Thurman Thomas, didn't we? Derailed his Heisman chances back in, I believe it was 1987. But yeah, he averages 6.7 yards a carry. You won't see anybody going in for him in the red zone. He's scored 21 touchdowns. Matt Rule was talking about him. I think he's about 230, 235, something like that. Big guy, just runs downhill all day. He is a senior. Let's see. And then no, he actually came up through Iowa. Stratton is a Colorado State transfer, barely played there. And then their top two receiving options, we're just mentioning them to mention it, are Jacob Gill, Jr., 31 catches for 365 yards, 12 yards a catch, 2 TDs, so probably just, got to be aware of him. And Luke Lachey, big old white tight end, he's a senior, 25 catches for 218 yards. That's probably their bread and butter, short stuff to Luke Lachey. If they're going to throw it, and they're going to throw to Caleb. He's got 20 catches for 115 yards. He actually averages a yard less per catch than than his yards per carry when running the ball. That's like that. I don't know. I have a feeling those 20 times they pass to him are when none of their slow receivers can get open and they're forced to dump it off. Jacob Gill was a Northwestern transfer, I believe, and he did play in a lot of games there. So he didn't come in completely green like Stratton, the quarterback. Okay, there's your Iowa preview, and let's get to it. I got an idea. I was kind of hoping Miley would come in to talk a little volleyball, and nothing really beats harassing your daughter. So let's call her up and see why she's not here. I'll crank this up, and let's just harass Miley. And if she's watching, she's not going to pick up the phone. She may not pick it up anyway because she knows the show's going on, and I'm probably just looking to screw with her. But let's see what we can do here. Call Miley. Yeah, not looking good. Nope, not answering. Let's try FaceTime her just for the hell of it. No, not hearing anything. Dang it. Well, Miley, if you're watching, come in here and talk volleyball. I really wanted her to come in so we could have a little talk about getting to smoke Wisconsin in both their sports. Sweep them, if you will. We outscored them both halves. The volleyball made it 6 straight sets. And I really love watching the volleyball do that because I can't stand that coach of theirs, Kelly, whatever. He looks like a human thumb or a shaved owl or something. And when we start beating Wisconsin in volleyball, he just freaking seethes. He is so mad and he can't hide it. And I just picture him pissed off and screaming at his team after the game. He just seems like an ass. And I wanted to get some insight from Miley there. We did get some gals drafted today in that volleyball pro league. Merritt Beeson was the #1 overall pick. I think it was Atlanta traded up with Indiana, who had the first pick to take her. Allie Battenhorst of Southern Cal and previously Nebraska is coming home to play for the Omaha team. And and one other I believe Landfair Taylor, is that another Taylor? Got drafted as well. So three players got drafted there. And all right, enough of this. I will be going to the comments now, and I want to hear all your Iowa jokes. So let me see if we've got anything going here. We'll also check some stuff after the stuff I just talked about here. Blaine Cole says partial to the Alamo Bowl versus Northwestern, Crouch and Alexander. Yeah, that was a team that was probably national championship good. And I remember them getting dumped on Northwestern. The Alamo Bowl was kind of a pisser. They didn't go into a much higher bowl, and Northwestern paid the price. What was that, 63-10 or something? It was like watching a New Mexico State game or something like that. Yeah, Blaine, that was good. Frank was pissed and ran it up on the car washers. YouTube is not letting me make comments about Iowa. Let me check YouTube on my phone here, because I there's nothing I fiddle with there, guys. As far as comments or anything, I just load it up and we go. Let me switch accounts. All right, subscripciones. Now I'm watching myself on YouTube talking to you. That's pretty funny. Let's see. All right, subscripciones. There's my sound. All right. Test. I see comments popping again. So if they were down, looks like they're going. Okay. They're popping up here. So let's rock and roll. Oh, idiots out walking around. Idiots Iowans. I mean, idiots Iowa. Iowans. It's the same thing. But yeah, like I said, let the jokes fly now. I'll go with a few. Let's see. 71 Orange Bowl, first natty in the last minute. Nebraska players were hugging on the sideline. Never saw it before. Robert Vavra, thank you for being maybe the only person here older than me. In 71, I was 7 years old and living in, I was still in New York in 71. And then 72 to 77 did a stretch in Asheville, North Carolina. And then we moved out here, never to leave again, at least thus far. Eric Martin whacked a guy versus Okie State. Yes, Demolition Man. Let's see. Eric Martin used to play pickup ball at Harper Schramm Smith. Andre Smith, like basketball player, this buddy of ours told this story about playing pickup. Andre Smith would play pickup when he was in grad school and, out of eligibility, and told us the story about how Andre Smith dunked on me once. And he's like, I'm there, arms in the air. He goes, he jumped right over me, and his balls, he's like, and his dick and balls just smashed right into my face. And oh my God, that was embarrassing. And he looks at us, and here's all of us. Why in the world would you tell us that? Why in the world would you tell anyone that? And he's just like, and no one's laughing. Everybody's just looking at him like, don't ever tell anyone that. and I just remember him going, fuck. And shaking his head, walking away for a bit. Yeah. Keep those stories to yourselves. Yes, Fred, Ed Cunningham was a little bitch. He whined about us all season. Yeah, because then we played Missouri in the old 300 and something yards Halu game. And I think it was Courtney Osborne came just launching himself through the air at Gabbert as Gabbert's releasing the ball, takes him out, gets the pass off, hits him right away. And Ed Cunningham, but just crying like a little baby. Oh my God, that's a late hit. It's a late hit. And it's like, you really ought to just not let guys do color in games where their former team is playing a team they hate and they can't keep their mouth shut about crap anyway. It was just wonderful. We loved hating Ed Cunningham. Not surprised I don't see his name anymore doing games. Let's see. I blasted an idiot in YouTube comments earlier without swearing, if you can believe it. But yeah, it floated into the ether. Yeah, I didn't see. I mean, I'll be honest. If you start blasting each other and I see it, I probably would delete it. But I never really saw anybody just go at it. I think we had one last week where went at it a little, and then I let it go, and it's just everybody figured it was a misunderstanding, and life went on. Yeah, no, this wasn't Tim Beck. This was is it Sean Watson? Was that his name? Yeah, it wasn't Beck in that game. Not that I'm a giant Beck fan. I didn't mind him as much as others though. Watson was the 50-50 guy. Let's see. Pitt, if you tell her, I'm doing, we're going after an absent Minnie here. Pitt, especially if you tell her the truth, how Dylan is the most overrated quarterback ever to be recruited. Yeah, then you get this look. Yeah, she'll give you the I like to call it the Pete Carroll in big game and tight games at USC when he'd just be like, just had that lost face or that Pitt. In her case, it's that how dare you face. What else we got here? Iowa-Nebraska game is the one to bet on. It. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of analytics that seem to think Iowa's going to have their way. The first spread I saw was 4. I don't know if the needle's moved on that yet since it's only Tuesday. But now, Fred, this isn't Northwestern hate week. This is Iowa hate week. Save your mayonnaise pouring nudity for Iowa, not Camp Kenosha. For the love of God. God, Tiger Shark. Sounds like Diddy's house. Aaron, oh good. I was wondering what Andy's thoughts on mayonnaise were. Mayo and horseradish equals magic. Yeah, it was just my feelings on large quantities of mayonnaise and the smell. Oh, well, we won't relive that, even though I just did. Yeah. Drew, give us the Pop-Tart Bowl, you cowards. I don't even know where that is, but yeah, he was the mascot of bowl season last year. Sun Bowl, yeah, that'd be good. It sounds like at least it's going to be somewhere warm. Where, like I said, we're not going to Boise or if it was New York, I'd have done it, but I wasn't. That wasn't the bowl experience I was looking for. It was a big city. I want a bowl city. Let's see. Oh God, we got a lot of possibilities for me tonight. Aaron Caden, he'll do a cover of the Smashing Pumpkins song as the outro tonight. No, I don't. Nothing against Smashing Pumpkins. I just don't know any of their lyrics by heart. Send Andy on a booze cruise, Huskers. I would not oppose that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Yes. Let's see. Being a receiver at Iowa was a lot like being Satterfield now. That's a good one. Yes, I like that. Jacob Gill, Grover Gill, the Toadies' asshole grandson, is Scott Farkas on the offensive line. They have receivers aside from in the bunger. Yeah, now we're going. Nope, Miley's not here. Be dirty. And guys, I'm telling you what, of the two children, Miley's the way more foul-mouthed of the two. She likes to. We're gonna have some fun with her since she didn't come in. She likes to make her mission in life is sort of to make family gatherings as uncomfortable as possible, especially Christmas. And we get a few more in there. She'll be stopping by on Thanksgiving, so I will see if she did anything to offend her grandparents there, because that'll probably just be the four of us. Yeah, just because she is born to cursing doesn't mean that Drew doesn't harass the shit out of her. This is true too. Shaved owl, I know, right? Just those are my favorite too, for just the guys that look like they want to make a wish deal to be a coach or something, with just, it's almost like the eyelashes are gone. They're Uncle Fester. All the jokes are fine. Yeah, Baron von Raschke with AIDS. Oh God, the Baron. Wasn't the Baron? The Baron was like a biology teacher or something too. I believe that was him. And my favorite, there's this buddy of mine, Trap, and one of his favorite wrestlers was George the Animal Steel, because every now and then he'd forget. And for those of you not familiar with George the Animal, he was big, chubby. His thing was he was a psycho who could barely speak. He was furry. It's like when he played basketball, he didn't do shirts and skins. He did shirts and sweaters. And then he'd run around like, and he'd rip the ring post padding apart and start eating the foam and spitting it everywhere. But every now and then you'd see his Rolex on him in the ring. That was pretty damn funny. So you not only got my mayonnaise thoughts tonight, you got my George the Animal Steel thoughts. Name another pod where you got George the Animal Steel thoughts tonight. That's right, you can't. Let's see. Oh God, sorry for the bad taste joke. Looks like he had downs. Oh God. Let's see. Five-star Nebraska quarterback versus Iowa's fourth-string QB. If Nebraska loses, fold the program. The funny thing is, it's like in the I check out the Sagarin poll a lot, because they at least just try to do a computer formula, and he's been doing it for years. And it's kind of funny because the thing's just on its head this year with just some of the stuff that's going on. And I don't know if you guys saw the ESPN, what their fit poll or something. And it is just a love story to the SEC. Their top 20, and that's supposed to be their formula. It has Texas number one. It has, was it Notre Dame or Ohio State number two, and I believe Oregon's number 7. They're the unanimous number one in both polls. They're number 7, and not only that, it's like they're undefeated. Ohio State has a loss. That loss is to Oregon, and their strength of schedule is slightly worse than Oregon's strength of schedule, but they're 5 spots ahead because he has a thing. He bases it all on scores and then the straight scoring, and then also on recency, like what are the scores in the more recent games. And it's kind of like it's just throwing out the strength of schedule and the head to head and doing it all on the recency. And even though you may not have lost, teams that lost once or twice but blew up some big scores on other teams, and those were at least good losses, are jumping ahead. In the That's in Sagarin. In ESPN's Alabama, 8-3 Alabama is number four uh, after getting blown out by Oklahoma, and they have 11 SEC teams ranked. I believe Iowa's ranked like 18th or something, or 19th, where Iowa State, which beat them head to head and has a better record, isn't in there at all. And it is just hilarious. They're just filleting themselves at this point. And then the thing is that it's not that far off from the Sagarin poll. And I just think what's going on right now is just such madness, and good teams beating each other. It's just kind of thrown the computers in a tailspin. So I don't know. That's why I believe we should have computers be part of any process. Is better than a bunch of guys behind closed doors. First of all, fuck that. That was the worst thing about going from 2 to 4 for me. I didn't mind the 2 to 4 so much. I did mind how before they had like the polls, the computers, your number of losses factored in, your strength of schedule, all that stuff. And then they just toss that, and then, hey, let's get a bunch of people that can't be trusted and shut a door and see how that works out. And brother, it didn't work out sometimes. And at least now we're going to be fighting over who's like 8 through 12, which to me, jag off. But I had an idea for the CFP show. Screw that. Hey, we'll tell you what we did after it's over. 4 hours in that room, reality TV, every minute of it televised. Every minute televised. And yeah, because they're gonna say things a lot differently with cameras on them. And here, social media can comment and fire away while it's going on. And if they don't agree on the field in exactly 4 hours, it flips to a formula. Their 4 hours is just considered wasted. Yeah, we go to a formula, blah, 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 and here you go. And then everybody loses their mind. But it's all a circus anyway. Let's make it a reality TV circus. All right, let's see. I don't actually hate Iowa not being able to beat them aside. The rivalry is manufactured and pales compared to CU. It's getting there, though. I would disagree with you on this one, Aaron, because you've got Iowa people right here. I can tell you from interactions in the stands, the hate's very real, and it's getting worse. And this game's going to be interesting because even Rule brought it up because we saw it after the game. Is when the Huskers when the game was over, and everybody goes back to their sidelines, and the Huskers are leaving the field. You have some Iowa players and coaches, maybe grad assistants. Who knows? I didn't try to ID anybody. Run across the field to taunt the Huskers as the last of them are walking off. And I think Rule saying, "Hey, enjoy Christmas at home" and stuff like that. And I suspect it was a little sharper than that. But no, this was not a manufactured rivalry. What was manufactured was that or these Freedom and Heroes trophies. And that's why the only trophy I really care about is the Bits of Broken Chair, because that has nothing to do with sponsors and the Army and heroes of the fuck that. I want Paul Bunyans and pigs and axes, and I want fun shit like the other schools have, not these, school and sponsor concocted celebrations of stuff that have nothing to do with the game. Anyway. There's my rant on that. Okay, the jokes start now. I'll probably be skipping over a lot of the game stuff because I want to get some serious joke time in. All right, Fred Sacco's kicking it off with what's an Iowa fan's idea of foreplay? Hey, sis, you awake? I think I saw one too, which is what it was an Iowa girl say after she loses her virginity. Get off me, Dad. You're crushing my cigarettes. Yep. Pit Stipe, favorite condiment in Iowa, wash your sister sauce. Oh, God. What else we got? Let's see. Choo. Iowa fans think gravy is a beverage. I like that. You know what else I like? Gravy. That's I don't drink it. I don't drink it out of the bowl. Let's see what else we got. Iowa cheerleaders don't sweat; they produce a brine. In Iowa, the hogs have to wear pants because, duh. Here you go. RS wants to know. He's 75. Is he oldest? Got 15 on me. I'm still enjoying the fifth month of my 60th year. Happy days. Let's see. Okay, Blaine Cole. Yeah, Blaine Cole's in Japan. That's it. I'm going to try and remember. RS and Blaine Cole are Philippines and Japanese watchers. And did Joe Lilicus, hope I pronounced that right, Soft in high school in 71. So what, that put you born in about 56 or so. So I think RS still has you there. Fred, I went on an Iowa board and asked about innuendos. They said, oh no, we're regular. We don't need suppositories. Farts are a perfume in Iowa. They are a foul smelling bunch, aren't they? I heard you can get into the game free Friday if you bring a feed bag to donate to the Iowa cheerleaders. All right, damn it. I want to get a couple of mine in. I won't go down the list, but what do you call it? I actually saw this one on a board, and it's the responses that I loved. What do you call a pretty girl in Iowa? A tourist. And then somebody went, just kidding. No one tours Iowa. And then what do you call, these are like the first couple. What do you call an Iowa player with a championship ring? A thief or a transfer. Although who'd transfer from a championship team to Iowa? Well, there was the Bama guy, and then he was from Iowa and then took one look at Iowa and went right back to Alabama. I hardly ever meet Iowa fans. I think they're an endangered species. Yeah. Here in Omaha, man, we're just separated by a river, and they come in, and I got to get the t-shirt I saw the other day for when Iowa fans come into the bar and start getting noisy about Iowa. It just says some things aren't worth jail. I think we've talked about that before. After an Iowa win, all the store shelves are sold out of flour, and 9 months later, there's babies named Kirk. Oh God, let's see. Yeah, Dylan isn't overrated. He's just a true freshman. I'd say he's about rated just right for a freshman. I know I never knew there was something called a half season freshman All-American team, but Dylan was its quarterback. Tell you what, he was spinning it nice against Wisconsin, and even his bad games didn't get like super low. I think the worst was Rutgers and on Tornado Day. But UCLA, he starts off about 3 for 12, and I think still finished the game up around 60%. So anyway, back to the jokes. If the spread is just 4, that's just an appetizer for the Iowa cheerleaders. Yep, here we go. Oldie but goodie from Joe. No way it's windy in Nebraska because Colorado blows and Iowa sucks. That's why the wind comes from west to east. The Andes Booze Crucible. Sponsored by Propel. Speaking of which, I'm still waiting for the day where I just get one of those 2.5 minute uncontrollable coughs when I pour one down in one of my lungs on the air. Let's see what else we got. I'm just looking at some of these stuff. Yeah, there you go. Mayonnaise is white enough for Iowa. Yeah, and boy, that means something there. In this era of Iowa hate, I made some notes. Let's just go ahead and read them. It's like they're not just make fun bad people. It's a bad place. They had this was according to articles I looked up, ESPN, a couple other places to make sure I'm remembering it right. 4 discrimination lawsuits as in Gary Barta's 16 years at AD, which, thankfully came to an end last year. For discrimination, the last one was the racial discrimination. You had about 13 players that actually agreed to file suit against the state of Iowa for allowing it to happen. Named in the lawsuit, and isn't it funny how this worked out, as being the worst offenders were Barta, Kirk Ferentz, Brian Ferentz, and then Chris Doyle, the strength and conditioning coach. And guess who, guess who took the fall was Chris Doyle, gets out of there. And then Urban Meyer, being tone deaf as always, hires Chris Doyle as strength and conditioning coach at Jacksonville immediately, and the place predictably lost their shit about just bringing a guy who just lost his job because of racism right away, and boom, he was gone. But isn't it funny? Nothing happens to those three. And the things they cited were racial slurs, and this one was the one that they had a little detail on, forcing them to abandon like their black hairstyles, fashion, culture to fit the Iowa way. And the way that they explained it was they were just trying to make them dress like Iowa hillbillies. Hey, you should think about boots and flannel and that kind of crap. And seriously about that, they're not telling the whole team to do that. They're just telling the ones that dress a little differently to do that. And Kirk Ferentz, was just, he couldn't have been, he supposedly puts together this committee to be sensitive to it and talk about things. Sounds like they didn't do shit. And then after a year, he pronounced it done. And when the Iowa Attorney General announces, hey, we're paying out $4.3 million to the group and we're being done with it. And Kirk Ferentz is going, hey, but they released us all. Yeah, they typically do that when they start releasing the named individuals from responsibility. That's step one, and that means get ready, we're settling. And that's part of the settle deal, is that it doesn't hit the individuals directly, it goes after the institution, or in this case the state. And so they get the 4.3, announce the payout. Kirk Ferentz loses his mind, says, I can't disagree with this more. If this had gone to court, it would have been dismissed with prejudice. Yeah, funny you use that language, right? And as it turns out, the guy who actually is the lawyer is, no, we're going to get slaughtered because we have multiple witnesses who will testify to the shit you guys did and said. So anyway, one funny thing is I used to mock their team photos, because these are the whitest teams in America. I mean, even compared to Wisconsin basketball, I think. And here's a football team that was about 80% white, where you can't hardly find another one in Division I that's under 50. And if it is, it's not by much. And I was just like, I'd mock their team photos, this and that. 2024, going to look at their rosters, it's not there anymore, team photos. If you want to figure it out, this is what I did for one article, but you have to go down the roster with the individual photos and start keeping a tally. So yeah, bad people. I remember when, if there's a most hated female athlete for me, it's Caitlin Clark. And I actually delight in it because it just pisses off her worshipers to know it. I'm like, yeah, she's a fantastic shooter, but she's a brat. And she doesn't talk shit. She bitches at people. She's angry. It's not trash talking to get anybody goats. It's just fuck off and stuff like that. And I remember when Georgia played them in the first round of the NCAA tournament last year, I think I made the crack that this building's about 99.7% white and the 0.3% is all on the Georgia bench. And, they got that going for them too anyway. But let's keep going with the jokes. I just want to point out, let's go for the throat a little. And yes, Iowa, this happened. Your guys agreed. And then the state turned around, I think, and had Iowa pay it all for this instead of the state. They're like, this is your bullshit. You pay the $4 million. So, haha. All right. What else we got? Brian Bauer darted in and out. If you're still here, welcome. If not, thanks for leaving us with this loving thought. Just wanted to stop by to say, fuck Iowa. That is all. Let's see. Where is Aaron Kane? Mayonnaise and George the Animal Steel have absolutely no business being in the same conversation ever. Well, I just didn't think you wanted me to stop at mayonnaise. Hey, how about it getting dumped on George? You know how long it would take to get the Duke's mayo out of his body hair? Oh my God. They'd have to put him through a car wash. Let's see. Yeah, it all started with mayonnaise is white enough for Iowa. TSD, I hear mayonnaise is used in place of Bengay when the Iowa cheerleaders blow a gasket. That could mean so many things. Oh, Aaron Kane, is that like the movie about Iowa cheerleaders going to Jenny Craig, a fridge too far? Oh, God. Pitt wants us to know, well, I guess we're throwing in some condiment talk. Is that Wober's or Weber's or Weaver's horseradish sauce is my latest addiction. Can't wait to have it on turkey sandwiches Friday. All right, now I'm hungry. Is it Macho Madness or Nacho Madness when the Iowa cheerleaders raided on the border? Okay, another of my jokes, damn it. Here you go. This sounds. It's the first I've heard of it. It sounds like it's maybe been around. Husker fan is driving through Iowa and looks off to the side, and not for the first time, just sees a farmer going to town on a sheep from behind, and the driver like stops and leans out and he goes, "Hey, you idiot! What are you doing?" He's like, "What's it look like?" He goes, "Well, we shear these things in Nebraska," and the Iowa farmer says, "I ain't sharing this with nobody." Oh yeah, and I'm just picturing this with like a burrow sound at the end. But why is it that high schoolers in Iowa can't have driver's ed and sex ed on the same day? It was determined by the legislature. It's just too hard on the donkeys. Why why don't Iowa couples do reverse cowgirl? Because in Iowa, they say never turn your back on family. All right, let's see what else you got. Justin Rogie. When you ask an Iowa fan to take an IQ test and they refuse because they're not named Q. What? No one was laughing? I bet they were. Somebody giggled. Oh, here! Oh, I can already see from the start of this one. Now we're going to start going deeper. Iowa fans aren't waving at cancer kids; they're waving at the kids they've ducked child support on. Jesus! And then Fred's time stamping me and congratulating Blaine. You are now part of Husker Hive Mind. Oh, it's always a free country here. I agree and I disagree. I agree to disagree. That'll all make sense in the morning, right? I promised I was done on that, but if we find out, we might talk about this a little more because, hey, you know what? After the Iowa game, we're going to have we'll have the Iowa game to talk about, and then we'll have just the show to go nuts on for a few weeks without reviews and previews. I'm sure we'll talk about whoever we're playing. And that's one. This is no official rumor, but this is more like the social media want list is get us in there with Oklahoma because they just got to, when they beat Alabama, that got them to 6-5 as well. And hey, why not? You know, have some Bama fun. I would have said USC, but just to see the Song Girls again. But yeah, we got to see them on TV once. Oh God, yeah, Freaks. I have actually seen that movie. What is that, like from 1938 or something? But yeah, one of us, Google Gobble, Blaine is one of us. And I heard that story too. Fickle accused Donnie of stealing one of their clipboards. If that's it, and the guy went hands-on spinning for that, man, I get that a lot of people love to answer those like, oh, they did that to me, I'm going hands-on myself. And, don't do that. But brother, it's just out of control sometimes. And like I said, what these guys are usually off-duty state troopers, and their job is just watch the coach, make sure no fans go after the coach. They didn't. I had a great view of it. All the fans just went right for the play. There's no. If they started trying to tear down goalposts, I would have been like, no, not that. But no, they just wanted to do it, and the players were happy just happy. They're just all the students and players high-fiving, hugging, having a time. I think I love the one with Dylan sitting there grinning ear to ear while some dude with his shirt off is just holding that camera out with the biggest smile you ever saw, shirtless, and getting a selfie with Dylan after the game. That's fun stuff. If you went over because a coach told you somebody stole my clipboard, and this cop was just like, hey, I got this. I wouldn't mind a little shove back off and get your hands off me. And we're not going to do it, but it feels like that's something that ought to just be quietly reported to the Big Ten. And why don't you have a real hard talk with Coach Fickle and make sure that none of those guys try to fucking touch anybody again. And if that's what's happened, you do not go using those guys to like retrieve your. I mean, I think it's just he knows it wasn't a clipboard. He was just butthurt and wanted to cause somebody some problems. And yeah, the Wisconsin thing too is like, because some people are like, maybe Donovan should have gone over and tossed Fickle, and they're like, Fickle's the greatest wrestling champion ever. I dare Donovan and Raiola to try. And it's like, okay, so you still think this is okay? Got 2 words for you. Suck it. Yeah, at least our trophies are normal. We don't trade a bronze Iowa cheerleader win or lose. We'll see. I want a weird trophy, but Fred, I'm 100% in agreement. It can't be a bronze Iowa cheerleader. First of all, I don't know that any football player could lift that off the ground, even at 1/3 size. Iowa, where men are men and sheep are scared. Yeah. Glad you're happy. It made me happy. Yes, Drew, it means I'm not the oldest for once. Little shit. Ouch, Mustang. He's more than a decade younger than me, you little shit. Joe's going to come unwound, kiddo. Yeah, looks like Joe's turning 70 in January. Well, happy 70th in advance. If you come around, I know that not a lot of people are going to transfer over to softball, but if you come around, join us in softball, and I'll do an official happy 70th. That'll probably start in late February. Let's see. Kirk Ferentz is so cheap he bangs his wife in installments. Yep. The Memorial Stadium's so windy. Same reason. Iowa sucks and Colorado blows. Why not? What was nothing in common? My prescription. You know what? If you're talking about the Tom Hanks movie, one of my favorite movies, love it. It's so funny. It was trying to be about 3 movies in one. It started off as a comedy and ended up as kind of a tearjerker. But that's when that was after like Hanks had basically done. Oh geez, because he started out of the gate doing comedy like Bachelor Party. What was the mermaid one? But he was just comedy. And then in this one, you started saying, wait a minute, you weren't really thinking Oscar yet, but you were thinking this guy. Now, I don't buy the Propel wholesale from Costco because it doesn't have watermelon in it. And watermelon's my favorite. So I get the 12 packs from Walmart. So I usually walk out of there with about two cases worth. It doesn't last long. People in Iowa are the ones too dumb to make it over the river on their way to Oregon. Let's see. Iowa cheerleaders credit their bulk to finding a meal between breakfast and brunch. 3 levels of spice at Iowa: mild, bland, and extra bland. Oh, got a show for you. I'm sure you all have heard of it because they've been advertising it pretty hard. But hold on. So, another Taylor Sheridan show. Those are never boring. Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. It's about 3 episodes in. Really good. You got your tough guys in the oil business of Texas saying tough, funny things, and Billy Bob is just on fire. Last thing I watched him in was Goliath, where he was a former corporate lawyer, and it's a comeback for him. He's a former drunk. Well, actually, he's a current drunk. He never really dries out in that. But in Landman, there's a couple of hilarious scenes. His son starts working the patches, and it has Hispanic. He's the low man on a Hispanic crew, and they invite him over for dinner, and he's just like, and they're all getting a kick out of watching him just have the pain of true Mexican food hit him, and you can tell that yes, his only experience have been with the spice levels of mild, bland, and extra bland. It's good scenes when the skinny kid played his son, but also a couple of guys try to jump him and he whips their asses pretty fast because it turns out he wrestled at Texas Tech. So he's not. He starts off looking helpless, but he's not that helpless. So good. Let's see. Iowa cheerleaders, so landman. It so far so good. Iowa cheerleaders are not fat. They are both drought and famine resistant. they can hibernate, eat enough to hibernate for the summer, I guess, because they got to watch football in the winter. Sack, I just assumed they were out to pasture except for 4 to 5 p.m. Let's see. Oh, I'm not insulting a good boots and flannel. I'm just insulting the idea that you got to wear it to be on this here football team. That's what I got a problem with. Let's see. Iowa cheerleaders don't lose weight; they render in the sun. Oh God. Let's see. I got people talking the the Iowa fashion. Let's see. They make the sick children watch their offense. No kidding. That's probably why half of them are up there in the hospital. That's with depression and eating disorders from being told, nope, we're not changing this offense ever. Yeah, just I just figure for Kirk Ferentz, there is no quarterback too white, too slow, or more ragged arm that is so bad at any of those three that he could be accepted, because basically your job is just to be a human Pez dispenser. I love it. Is that they're an all-running team, but they don't want a running quarterback. What? Do you realize that gives you? Well, no, I don't. Just in case Ferentz is that freaking stubborn that he just doesn't watch that kind of thing, I don't want to give him the idea that, hey, maybe you guys should run option, which might make it a little tougher. Let's see. These guys are talking shoes. That's right, sheepophile joke. Well, come on, man. It's Iowa Hate Week. I have not told the only sheep joke. It wasn't the first. It's not going to be the last. I mean, sheepophile, to me, that just goes on like 97% of Iowa driver's licenses. I'm sure the women find a way to be with them too. I'm not a sexist. Let's see. Okay, classic joke, folks. Here we go. Pit snipe. Kirk dies and goes to heaven. St. Peter was hammered, so he got in. God meets him on the other side of the gates to take him on a tour. Wait a minute, continued. And to guide Kirk to his new home. As they're walking, they pass a huge mansion with Husker flags and red fountains and Greek pillars and gorgeous maidens tending to lush something. And Kirk starts thinking that's all right. On and on they walk till they come to an outhouse, broken down. Or wait, yeah, let's see. To a lush lawn, sorry. And Kirk starts thinking that's all right. And then they walk till they come to an outhouse, broken down, not nearly watertight roof with a sick cow tied to a post. Here you are. God says, Kirk incensed. Why does Tom Osborne get a friggin' mansion? God bellows, Tom Osborne ain't dead. That's my house. Oh, I like that. That can be told every day at Christmas in this state, I think. Brian Ferentz has a bumper sticker on his Prius that says "Cowboy butts drive me nuts." Aaron says, "What does a Hawkeye fan do on Halloween? They pump Ken." Oh, Bob Diaco joke. Bob Diaco got the term "the strain" from the time he got shanghaied by an Iowa cheerleader and she broke his perfect hair. And if you want trophy stories, the Bob Diaco trying to get the trophy game going with Central Florida when Frost was there, still one of the funniest things ever. It goes up there for like greatest sports desperation stories, that he was so desperate to have that trophy game, and it was just him and nobody else wanted it. Oh God, let's see. Haha, Boardman said last night that cop grabbed Donnie and the B1G still didn't call holding. Good one. I like that. Let's see. Oh, Kenny. Doctor says to the Iowan that came in with a rash and said, "You're banging sheep, aren't you, Doc?" "Well, how do you do it?" Iowan, "Well, I put her on my lap, the front legs over my shoulder, and I go at it." Doc goes, "You're doing it wrong. You put the hind legs in your boots and take her from behind." And the Iowan goes, "What? No kissing?" Good one. Let's see. Iowa averages 40 at home. I haven't checked this week, but that would be, here's why I think that's a thing. And it's not their offense. I don't think they're still in the top 100 in yardage out of 133 teams, but they are leading the nation in fumbles recovered. And so I think they're getting the ball in really good position. Like the only touchdown they scored against UCLA was picking a pass off on the first drive inside and running back inside of Iowa or UCLA territory right out of the gate, and for a 7-0 lead. And then that was that for the touchdowns. Let's see. Another tearjerker is an Iowa cheerleader working on the Dunkin' Donut guy when the Friars go down. Oh, good. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Softball, baseball. I'm all in. Graduated from Lincoln in 78. I guess I'd put Joe at about 64 or so. Congrats. And hey, Drew, yeah, somebody else older than me, you little shit. How do you like that? Here comes Five Heart Theater. Oh, quick message for those of you who do all the pods wondering, they will be doing their show Thursday night on Thanksgiving night. So if you're looking to, unbutton the first pop the button and unzip the zipper a little and put the hand down the pants like Al Bundy, then the Greg and Minnie will be there for you. Let's see. Yeah, I'm all about the Taylor Sheridan stuff. I just finished second season of Tulsa King. He didn't write that, but he's the producer, and that's his story. And that show, I mean, it's violent as hell too, but it just cracks me up. But Sylvester Stallone was born to play a 75 or 78-year-old mobster who just did 25 years in prison and then took over Tulsa. Let's see. Hey, I got a email. Yay. I think I had that one on my list. They put the field turf in Kinnick so they couldn't graze anymore. Damn right. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what they were talking about, but I'm more spastic than Iowa cheerleader's colon after Taco John's Krispy Kreme and Indian oven. Who remembers I think he's still alive, but comedian, I think it was John Panera, something like that, big fat guy. And he always told the story of how he'd go to the Chinese all-you-can-eat buffet, and the cook, and he's like, the cook would just say, he goes, the cook would just stand there at the kitchen door glaring at me and shaking his fist like, he's like, you don't eat no more, you too big, why you eat so much? The 10 times you go through line. And it probably shouldn't be doing that anymore, but that's from probably 15-20 years ago. And when you're looking at a guy Panera's size, it killed. Let's see. Do. Ooh, we're talking about whiskey in Japan. Nice. Uh-oh. Predictions are coming in. Joe's going 45-19 Husker win. I'll settle for fucking 13-12 rock fight, but here's the thing. I checked the weather. I don't pop it in. I do the preview article on Thursday or Friday. I try to do it for Thursday because usually a lot of stuff hits on Friday. But right now it's looking like temp at kickoff for the night. I guess it wouldn't have mattered. It's going to be up the same temperature if they played it at 11. Kickoff temp's going to be about 19 as of right now. So we'll see. We'll see how warm everybody can keep their hands. If the receivers can have warm hands, Dylan can get a good grip on a cold ball. So otherwise, man, sometimes those cold games can turn into those Big Ten rock fights as they call them. Just to reiterate, yes, Five Heart. I believe Greg told. Let me double check. I believe it's going Thanksgiving night. Hold on, just a momento, and I will double check that message. I don't want to give out bad info. Greg and Minnie. All right. No, I take it back. They're doing it tomorrow night. We're doing the show tomorrow night, usual time. So Take it back. Thank you. I'm glad I saw the comment. It is tomorrow night, same time, just one night sooner. So, nope, misread that. Thank you. Oh, Fred. I love how Fred can pick these out of thin air and have a ball with them. No, Andy, for all those who do all the pods, no, Andy, I don't fuck with Iowa cheerleaders, not even on purpose. Oh, brother. Good one. Yeah, it's like they started off with like having to get him through that trial, which wasn't going anywhere because the defense he ended up using was right out of the gate. I'm like, yeah, they haven't proven anything. They just prove she has money now, but there were no favors. Anyway, it got better. I like the comedy, but I like the comedy mixed with the violence, and I like because Stallone, he's trained so hard to be a nice guy. And I love it when somebody just keeps sassing him enough, and he just blows up and starts threatening him, and then likes to follow through on the threats. Let's see, we got any more Iowa stuff? And it's good because we're getting to about that point. Had a couple more, or did I have one? No, I actually had the field turf one. So my last one is how do Iowans find sheep in tall grass? Very satisfying. So let's see. I was going to say new series to watch. Right now, I'm kind of going on 3 because they're going on simultaneously, and I'm doing Landman, Lioness, and then I also started The Penguin. Which the first episode, it's an hour. Like I think it's like an hour and 20 long. It's almost right. It's right there at short movie length, and it started kind of slow, I thought, but it's picked up then. And then Kristen Melody, who plays Sophia Falcone, I was in love with her when I saw her in Palm Springs. I think she is like super cute. She was hilarious in that. Really has an intelligence about her. And then in this one, she's supposedly psycho. Like the show starts and she's just been released from Arkham Asylum and loves giving off the crazy, but still wondering if she's actually crazy or if she's just rolling with it to suit her. But there's 3 I'm watching with right now. I'm gonna start. I gotta finish up Cobra Kai soon. I think the last half of that, or the season 6. I think they're doing 3-part season 6, or maybe they did a 1-part 5 and a 2-part 6, whatever. There's several episodes now, and then I think the last episodes are going to be this summer. And I've enjoyed Cobra Kai thoroughly. I just love the idea of, hey, we're doing a sequel, and it's an actual sequel, jumping from the 80s to the 2019 through 24 or whatever. And so I enjoy those. But yep. And he started The Penguin. Are you dating the Iowa cheerleader captain? Well, if you're into that full-bodied stuff, they'll tell you what. There's your one positive what Iowa can do to help you out. Let's see. Battered Bastards. Yes, we are running out of steam, and that's it for my Iowa jokes. Battered Bastards. This week, it is on the to watch list. I actually have to keep a list of series and shows just to make sure I watch everything. And it is on the list. It's going to get watched sooner rather than later this time, I promise. And there were so many weeks I'd be going, hey, remember to ask Pitt what that name was, because I kept forgetting it. And then as the show rolled on, oh, Battered Bastard. So, yeah, and I saw a little clip of it. I guess Kurt Russell is a big part of it. So I am looking forward to that. So since I shouldn't say it like that. Since we have no more hatred for Iowa, we have plenty of hatred for Iowa, and we're going to carry it strongly through this Friday. It's going to be weird. I'm so used to getting up early for that damn 11 a.m. game. That I might miss it a little, and then it's going to be dark. It's going to be freezing. Well, not freezing, but cold. It can hurt to play football in weather like that a little more. I remember playing a couple really cold games, but anyway, let's Pitt, good comment there. I could listen to Kurt Russell read the phone book. One of my favorite all-time actors, and I think he was the classic could act to the level. He could act to the level of anyone. Like you could have put him in like a Scorsese film, and he'd be out there kicking ass with De Niro and Pesci in that crowd. I just remember when I saw what was the firefighter one? It's always at the end of the show that the movie encyclopedia in my head gets overloaded. But that one, his acting in some of the scenes in that one, holy shit, was just. There was one where he's just mad freaking out, and he is just bug-eyed, and his eyes are watering, and he's shaking, and holy shit, what an actor. All right, let's jump to it. Gentlemen, get your comments out. If you have had your number picked before, I'd say give everybody 15 seconds or so, get somebody else's number, but pick a number between 2 and 40. If it's a repeat, I'll ask you to pick again, but it is time for your one of 40 things that every great drunk should do before he dies. We respect the great drunks here at the Huskers happy hour. So Kenny says 24. Let's see. Did we not do that one before? Maybe not. This one sounds familiar. No, I think we did 24. Give me another one. Okay, 9. Let's try 9. I think we did. That was the juice on the job. And okay, we did 9 before. That's the get 86 from a bar. I think we did that one too. Okay, let's try 31. I know I haven't heard that one. Okay, it's not a long one, but here you go. 31, eat the worm. It's a cliche, but so are strippers at a bachelor party. It must be done. The last thing you want to do is mutter a half-hearted lie to your grandkids when they squeal, Gramps, did you eat the worm? You know, and grandkids do that. So, yeah, eat the worm. Let's do a second one. That was a little short. 33. Another short one. All right. And I've done this one. And I've got a Nebraska, Oklahoma story around it too. Steal some booze. Against the law, sure. A hell of a rush? Absolutely. Of course, not getting caught is very important. Plan well. Nothing tastes quite so sweet. And it was 1988, maybe 87, 88. We literally, me and some fringe friends, not best friends, but friends, 3 of us got together and decided, or was it 4? Yeah, because we had 6 people in that car. 6 of us got together, 4 of us at first, and decided and this is about 8:30 on Friday night in Lincoln at the original Sandy's there, caddy corner to where it is now, assuming it's still at 14th and O in the old McDonald's. And we decided, let's go to Norman. Let's leave as quick as we can. Let's drive all night. Let's get our ass to Norman. You know, and we'd been drinking for about solid 6 hours. So we needed 2 things, a sober driver and a car. So we find this one gal who just walks in, hadn't been drinking, and we go and we grab her. Hey, you got a car? Yeah, why? We're going to Norman, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Really? This is Bosworth's first year of the Bosworth splash. And yeah, just a sophomore. And so she's got this giant Plymouth or Buick something or other. Perfect. And then right behind her comes a gal we knew, friend of ours. She worked at P.O. Pears. Hey, to even the numbers a little, want to go to the Oklahoma game with us tomorrow. And we hopped in that car and headed just south. And I remember we stopped in Beatrice. I'm not sure to this day if that was on the way or not. I think it is. I'm sure we did not take the most direct route at times, but we stop in a liquor store, and my job's to go buy a 6-pack of beer while they rob the place. Well, not blind, and I get back to the car, and there's nobody yelling behind us or anything, and they've walked out of there with 2 cases of beer, a couple liters of Coke, and a bottle of 151, and we are off to Norman with our stolen drinks. It was quite a I tell you what, it really tasted sweet. I'd never really just been part of mass liquor theft like that before. I mean, the mass for, 6 people, not robbing trucks like it's Goodfellas or something. But yeah, oh, let's see. We got a few comments flying. What's that started? Backdraft. That was the movie. I wanted to say Fire something. I love Backdraft so much. I love Bruce Hornsby. He had 2 songs in there. Let's see. It was Kurt Russell was amazing. Robert De Niro and Donald Sutherland are playing like small cameo roles. They're both great. Might have to rewatch Backdraft this week, but I promised to watch Battered Bastards of Baseball first. I'm just not going to try and say it fast 6 times. So, Sandy's, the Elk Creeks, good drink 100 years ago. Are they shit now? That's too bad. What Elk Creeks did to me was made me spend a year and a half learning don't take a nap after you go home from Sandy's, because we'd hit that place at 3 or 4 for the happy hour. You can get the cheap Elk Creek pitchers and anything else, and just go stumbling out of there at 6:30 or 7. Hopefully had enough money to eat. Then go eat, and then between getting all pissed up and then eating a pile of fast food, hey, there's a party, in about it's starting about 9 or 10 or so, but I'm going to take a nap before, and wake up at 11:30, hearing the party is either roaring, or if it started somewhere else, is now back at our place, and just kind of quietly lock the door and go back to bed, and then wake up at 2 in the morning and not be able to get back to sleep. Yeah, the rule was just stay the fuck awake if you have plans later that night. Even if you don't, just so you can sleep somewhat normally. Don't take that nap after Sandy's. Oh my God. All right, I'm going to finish this off with a friend of mine reminded me of a funny story involving this book, The Match. And it is a story about a couple of rich guys who decided to have a match play game between 2 amateurs. And this is 1956, Ken Venturi and Harvey Ward. And they had a big bet going, and they were going to take on Ben Hogan and Byron Nelson. And good book. It looks and sounds absolutely boring. It's actually kind of page turning, funny. If you like golf, and even if you don't, might be interested. It's written really well. But did I come here to do a book review of the match? No. I have this nice looking copy of the match that's mostly new, except for a stain, and I'm not sure which pages it was on, but I'd come home after a long night, trying to solve the world's problems at Tiger Tom's, and I got me a Domino's pizza and decided to read a little bit more of the match. And the reason I have my own copy of the match now was I woke up the next morning and I start toddling around doing things, and drinking a gallon or 2 of water, watching a little TV, cleaning the place up, do a quick workout, sit down to read the match some more, and it looks like it's kind of skewed. It's kind of like off balance a little, and it turns out the reason for that is one of the pizza crusts. And here's the thing: is to avoid eating as much sugar. Won't bore you with that whole story, but I started just kind of slurping the tops off pizzas, maybe eating the corner, and then having this pizza crust sit on a plate. Only in this case, I decided to use the pizza crust as a fucking bookmark. That's right. I got the reason the book looks a little askew is I open it up and here's just like sauce and grease on these pages and I borrowed this from a friend, and I used the pizza for I'm glad it wasn't autographed or anything. Yeah, I used that for a bookmark. So, well, let's go on to old Amazon or whatever and see how quick I can get me a new copy, nice fresh copy of the match. Presented it to him at the bar, and it's like, well, if you notice this is even shinier than the copy you had, here's why. And he just looks at me like, I'm like, yeah. So anyway, feel free to say the idiot on Huskers Happy Hour used pizza as a bookmark. Let's see if anybody followed that up. Oh God. Oh geez, Andy, Wisconsin copped a woman. Yeah, I don't ever remember, like, especially grabbing women and spinning them around. But you know what? There probably is some resemblance between Donovan Raiola and the women in Iowa I'd spin around. Let's see. Anyone else appreciate the lack of fair sex in this room? I knew that my shows were probably going to lean heavily male when I did the first of the movie reviews, or the sports movie shows, and it was Necessary Roughness, and one of the first quotes was, "I remember Kathy Ireland," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't." And we're off. Hot chicken. Who was the hot? Well, there was Jennifer Jason Leigh. Rebecca De Mornay was Kurt Russell's wife, and I think those were the big two. De Mornay was Russell's wife, and Jennifer Jason Leigh was Billy Baldwin's girlfriend. Well, Russell's ex-wife, I believe. Yeah, here's like a fireman's like formal like celebration of someone's retirement, and another fireman's dating Kurt Russell's ex-wife, so he just comes in swinging. Fred, I never stole booze, but at age 17, I looked old enough to buy beer, so me and a friend would take people's money who wanted to buy their booze, wanted us to buy their booze. Well, here's the thing, though. John Moxon, baby, of the West Canaan Coyotes, once he became that starting quarterback, he was underage, and they just gave him a six-pack of beer with whatever he wanted at the mini mart, and his money was no good there. So start for a Texas high school team, and that's another way to get your booze. Let's see. Yeah, dude, we drank 4 pitchers apiece after the Northwestern game where Frost accidentally killed him. I went home. I was too depressed to drink. I drank during the game, and I just left because I was just going to be. I wasn't even. It wasn't pissed off. It was just for me. That was the true gut punch game, and none of them have really just made me walk away like that. And I was dog sitting for a friend, and I'm going to have her dog again. Like December 3rd through 10th, so that you'll probably see a dog trying to jump into the see what's going on here, dude. A little Aussie mini named Coco, and that dog is just a blast. But I just went home and played with Coco, and I needed to do something to make me happy, and football wasn't going to do it that day. It was officially shot for the day, but I had a dog on loan. Fred, you got a week to think it over. I'm sorry, I stunned you with that one. Uh-oh. Iowa cheerleaders also use grease as a bookmark and a way to incapacitate the prey. My mom would get mad at me for just eating the cheese and pepperoni. I didn't like crust. Now I'm diabetic. Funny. The reason I started not eating crust was I found out I was type 2, and there you go. One of the girls I used to coach in hockey, we had like a big thing to like a skate around, try and get girls there who hadn't tried it, like recruiting for the girls teams. And afterwards, and I'm running around all day and got everybody a bunch of pizzas and whatnot. And I'm sitting there eating it as I described. Fred had like appreciated my slurping story. Well, I'm doing it, and she sits there, and a couple of buddies sit down and just start watching me like dumping crust on the plate. And she's like, "Do you always eat your pizza like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm too hungry right now to explain it, but I'm good." Doesn't say a word for a few minutes. Then goes, "Hey, Coach Andy, another question." "What's that, Natalie?" "Do you have a girlfriend?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. Thanks for asking. I'm going to keep eating pizza." Again, a couple minutes go by. "Hey, Coach Andy, I have a question for you." Another one. "What's that, Natalie?" She goes, no, this was when she went, "Can I give you some advice?" I said, "Did you eat your pizza like that before you met her?" And I went, "Yeah." Has she seen you do that?" "Yeah." It's like, well, my advice is make darn sure she's your girlfriend before you eat pizza like that in front of her, because it's probably as gross looking as it sounds. I usually just did it by myself as best I could, but yeah, that was my advice from a 12-year-old player. And sound advice, really. I did make sure. Let's see. I woke up to a perfect pyramid of guessing regurgitated chili cheese Fritos in Harper Hall after a night of cactus juice. That'll do it. Oh, I had a good boot and rally like was it Joe Bob in Varsity Blues, Billy Bob in Varsity Blues. I did a puke and rally one night. I was in real bad shape the next day. Don't puke and rally. Let's see. Straight up sausage party in here. Another good. I think I told you guys last week to watch Euro Trip, and yeah, there's a scene in Euro Trip where the guys want to go to a nude beach in France and go storming down, and then it's just dudes. And they said that's when all the tourist dudes come and invade this beach, and all the women go hang out at this other beach, which is where the girls wanted to go in the first place because there were some sculptures, and that's where all the women were. And anyway, let's see. More sausages dangly here than in the car wash. The best of times for off-season moving. I'll think about it. It's not on my top 50. I do like it. I'll think. I promise to think about it. Kenny, I think I saw a Backdraft just once in the theater. I think I went. That was when I was, there we're getting old enough to where not quite going to see movies over and over in the theater again. You just had to wait for DVD or, HBO at that point. But I might have gone to Backdraft twice. I actually they had a Universal Theater tour fan days for Miami and Nebraska when we played Miami in the 2002 Rose Bowl at Universal Studios theme park. And there was a Backdraft, call it ride. You got to run through a burning building, and the final room was like the one at the last scene of the movie when the flammable aluminum barrels are firing off like missiles, and they have that going on. I'm like, and then at the last part, the balcony, the shaky looking balcony, it actually drops a couple inches, and everybody freaks out. It was fun, but yeah, good Backdraft ride at Universal. Let's see. Indiana was the most pissed I've been after a game by far. I wasn't happy. When they're that bad, though, by the end, I'm laughing. Because what else? I mean, I can get pissed, have it ruin my day. But what I hate is games like UCLA are worse for me, where they're killing you, even though the score wasn't killing us. They're killing us at halftime. And then they go up 27-7 after only being up 13-7. And we're going, well, it's over. And I turned to one of the guys by me and went, yeah, here's what's going to happen. And just because this sucks worse is we're gonna come back and almost tie it up. And shit, that dropped my stomach more than Indiana did. Didn't like it though. There's just a lot of everybody going, can you believe this fucking bullshit? Let's see. Maybe times I had to be good at puke and rally. I'm 170 soaking wet. Yeah. Back then, I don't even know if I was up there. Let's see. Oh, I'll watch Wildcats again. I don't rewatch that. I remember I saw it once, saw it again, and I just remember I thought it had a lot of kind of slow parts. Yeah, I don't know if Wildcat. I'd probably take Best of Times before Wildcats, to be honest. All right, that's it. Let's go. I thought I was going to get back to the hour and a half I aimed for, but here we are at 2 hours again. But if we're going to do it like that, why not? Iowa Hate Week. Hopefully, we're celebrating Iowa Lost Week a week from now, and then after that, something I never anticipated having. We're going to have some pre-bowl. We're going to have some pre-bowl game episodes. We'll probably keep those a little shorter. But yeah, right now, judging by what I heard, we're looking at either ReliaQuest Bowl. I think that's a New Year's Eve game, and that would keep me out of trouble if I could be out of state on New Year's Eve in a hotel or something. And if not, that Music City Bowl. But we'll see how it all plays out. I'm sure we'll talk about it even more next week. Maybe we'll have some more info by then. But the way it goes, I've been told as far as to when to expect the naming, and if I can get some creds to go to that, wait for after the conference championship games, because then they're going to pick. Then they got to wait for the playoff teams to be picked, and then a couple days will go by of everybody shuffling the bowl stuff, and then after that, we'll know what we know. So, Cricket Mobile Bowl, here we come. I'm just picturing it like I can't remember the line in the movie. If I think about it, I'll do it next week so we don't drag it out anymore. But as always, thank you guys so much. Great comments, great jokes tonight. It's never not funny here at Iowa Hate Week. Can't wait to beat their asses Friday. Beat their asses Friday. Celebrate like crazy, or I'm sorry, Friday night. I don't know when anything's scheduled for. Celebrate, enjoy football Saturday, like rivalry Saturday, and we'll see you back here Tuesday. Thanks to every one of you. Peace out, and of course, go Big Red. Love you guys.